Welcome to Cosmic Scene with Jill Jardine. I'm your host, Jill Jardine, Master's in Counseling Psychology, longtime astrologer, psychic healer, and yogi. In today's episode, we have a special treat for you featuring the duo Kalyana, featuring musicians Shakti Das, Johnny Coe, and Stuart Peak, Padma Das. They'll be discussing the connection between Irish music and Indian music. So stay tuned for this two-part podcast. Welcome to our special two-part episode featuring musicians Shakti Das, aka Johnny Coe, and Padma Das, Stuart Peak, who formed the musical duo Kalyana. Johnny Coe, Shakti Das, you may remember from earlier podcasts. We're very honored to have him and Stuart Peak back. Johnny Coe is a musician, Sadhu, and teacher of Nada Brahma yoga. He began playing music at a very young age and studied drums and percussion throughout childhood. His first music heard was from the singing traditions of Ireland, then jazz and traditional folk music from throughout the world. After a near-death experience as a very young child, he began to remember past lives and had conscious spiritual awareness after performing in various bands and as a solo performer. He received various awards and began studying and receiving initiations in multiple tantric traditions of Tibet and India. Shakti Das Johnny Coe has been performing and teaching throughout the U.S. and abroad for many years, performing traditional music of Ireland, as well as practicing Kirtan and Nada Brahma yoga. My other guest today, playing with Johnny Coe, is Stuart Peak, a very accomplished musician as well. Stuart Peak, aka Padma Das, is an accomplished multi-instrumentalist. Stuart is a highly sought-after session leader, performer, and teacher of Irish music. Stuart is a champion guitarist, an Irish banjo champion, and an esteemed tin whistle player. As a teacher, Stuart has taught workshops at the New England Folk Festival, the Irish Cultural Center of New England, and the prestigious South Shore Conservatory. Stuart is considered one of New England's premier Irish musicians and has appeared in many media publications, radio, and television. I am so honored and privileged to invite back Shakti Das Johnny Coe, joined by Stuart Peak. Padma Das, welcome. Kalyana is in the house. So happy to have you back.
Thanks
Shakti
for having
Das.
us. Thank you for having us.
Great to be here.
It is great to be here. So I thought we'd start off with a piece of music to introduce the project. And so here we go. Triambakam yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivarnadam Urvarukamiva Barandana Mrityormukshiyam amrita Om Trambakam yajamahe Sugandhim pushtivarnadam Urvarukamiva bandana Mrityormukshiyam amrita Hari Om Trambakam yajamahe Sugandhim pushtivarnadam Urdvarukamiva bandana Mrityormukshiyam amrita Hari Om Trambakam yajamahe Sugandhim pushtivarnadam Urvarukamiva bandana Mrityormukshiyam amrita Hari Om Trambakam yajamahe Sugandhim pushtivarnadam Urvarukamiva bandana Mrityormukshiyam amrita
Beautiful. Kalyana. Thank you, Shakti Das
Thank
and
you.
Padma Das.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell our listeners a little bit about that piece?
Yeah. Stu, you can tell them.
Yeah, that's a piece that we call the May Maha Morning. And it's a combination of two Irish pieces and a chant in the middle. And the first piece is called the May Morning Dew, which is actually a song. And the last piece is called the Morning Dew. So they share a same title, and they're both in the same key, and they go really well with what Johnny was just doing right there. So that's what we're exploring today, the connections between the two music.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. May Morning Dew from the Irish tradition, then the powerful Mahamrityunjaya mantra from the Vedic tradition, Indian music, and then the Morning Dew on the other side. It was a sandwich piece.
Yeah.
It was.
So we put that together very quickly. It came together about 5 minutes, I think, before we were supposed to come on your show last time.
On the radio show.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of this whole project is that Stuart and I had played traditional music together for many years now. And then he knew I was a yogi and knew a little bit about the Kirtan that I sang, devotional Indian music. And when he got introduced to that, we had often talked about, through the years, the similarities in the music and how different, and Stu will talk a lot about that, but how similar they are in terms of European musics. They share more in common with the East, with India, Irish and Indian. So we decided that we would merge the two of them in a way, but also, rather than just do the instrumental traditional music, we would also incorporate mantra. And I think it's really important to talk about that a little bit, which we will, because there's been some great revelations of late. I think for the last 10 or 12 years, I've been talking to Irish friends about my immersion in the Indian culture, and certainly studying Sanskrit. I had noticed that the languages were so similar. In fact, there was identical words.
Wow.
Not only that, just the whole sort of zeitgeist spiritually. I had spent time in both traditions, and it was like coming back home when I immersed myself with Indian culture, and the yogic culture, because I was like, even the everything about Indian people was identical to the Irish people that I grew up with. My grandmother was a saint. In fact, in the south of India, in Tamil Nadu, she has a school named after her, which is no coincidence there. Yeah, I don't know if you knew that. So the revelation of late, we found out just this summer that, I had been talking about, there was a lingam that they discovered at the hill of Tara, and they were ordaining, priests there. There's all of these. So yeah.
So that there was a Shiva lingam.
The Shiva lingam.
As a stone at the hill of Tara in Ireland. And what was happening there?
Well, okay, so there's a lot to talk about here, but so with the hill of Tara, so I began to explore this a little bit over the last 10 years, and as of recent, there was a book that was written called 32 Words for Field by an Irish journalist. And
32 words.
32 Words for Field, where he's talking about the Irish language.
F-I-E-L-D.
Yeah. So we come to find out, and I knew the spirituality. I was in Ireland last 3 years ago, and I found myself in the west, in the southwest, in the Gaeltacht in West Cork. And I told you this story before. I did what we call pradakshina in the yogic Vedic terminology. I went to the Saint's Well, and I did all the offerings, the oblations, and walked the whole trail. And I spent some time meditating there, and I put my head up to a tree, and it said, go back to the well. And I went to the well, and I put my head in, and it illuminated, and it was just incredible. I left Rudraksha beads there. So here I am with the beard, top knot, in a kurta.
If you saw Johnny Coe, he looks like an Indian sadhu or saint, and he always wears orange.
Right.
So
well,
I'm sure
the same in Ireland.
And that was quite the sight for the Irish people.
So, well, but the devotion is the same. So the people were there, and they were just so filled with love and devotion that none of that meant anything. Only that there was an Indian woman behind me, and she was sitting watching me, and I made my offering to the well. She had tears welling out of her eyes, and she said she never understood devotion until she came to Ireland. And so I thought that was kind of interesting. Here I am, an Irish guy dressed as an Indian. There she is, an Indian woman dressed as an Irish lady. That's one silly thing, but there's so many things to talk about. The identical aspects of the spiritual culture, all the rivers except for one, which is basically a stream in the area where I was, are all female rivers. The identical rivers are almost identical to the goddesses in India.
Yes.
So the river Boyne is actually from Boinda, so bow and go, which are the same root, or cow in India and Irish.
Oh, interesting.
So it's the Bovinda River, and her sustenance giving the milk, and it's the same as Govinda in India. And at night, the illuminating light from the river becomes the Milky Way. Then so all these connections,
both in Ireland and India, and you found the linguistic connection as well.
Linguistic connection, yeah. And there's so much more. I've taken some notes because it's just amazing to hear this writer talk about how much there were similarities were, and we'll continue to talk about
Stuart
that.
has a lot more to say about that,
Well,
too.
I do too, yeah. But I want to get this. We're so excited about this. I want to talk about everything. So.
Yeah, and so with the
Yeah.
music that you guys have been doing, you're finding the natural connection as well.
Correct.
And the fact that they blend. Now, what do you think that is? Do you think that it was the dispersion from India that went to the Celtic Isles? The history of this goes back to
Absolutely.
that. I mean, they say that a language very close to Sanskrit in Europe is that of the Romani in Romania. The Gypsies have a language that's very, very connected to the root of Sanskrit.
Well, yeah, it's Indo-European, but the
Right.
Sanskrit being an energy-based language, the Irish language is very similar. Hence, in this book, the 32 words for feel. But the actual description of things is energetic. It's more mantric
Right.
language. It's mantric language,
Right.
rather than meaning-based language.
My listeners know all about mantra from
They
the
do.
previous
Exactly.
episodes.
Yeah.
Exciting connections you guys are
Very.
discovering, and it's
Yeah.
unfolding for you, and it's unfolding
It is.
through the music that you're playing.
Right.
And what do you notice when you combine the two traditions of music, the Indian with the Irish? I'm kind of tranced out here after your first song. So there's definitely an energetic
Yes.
component to this
Absolutely there
as
is.
far as elevating the consciousness and going into a bliss state. I'm experiencing it here and now, but maybe there's other things you want to share.
Sure. I mean, Stu can talk a little bit more about the modality of the music, but mainly for me, the spirituality is there. The old Indian laws and the Brehon laws, are the same. It's the same culture. So us coming together, playing music, I think on an energy-based level, doing the traditional music, we understood music on an energy level together. I think it's karmic for both of us, of course.
Right.
But then, when you see how absolutely indistinguishable the cultures are, it just makes sense. And so, for us to blend the two of them, I mean, it's coming together seamlessly. And we're
Okay.
exploring this, so
And
that makes sense.
I'm happy to hear that you have a new name for your
Yes.
collaboration, Kalyana, which we know that Kali is the goddess of much power in the Vedic tradition. Tell me how you guys came up with that name, and I think it encompasses this Indian-Irish
Yeah.
connection.
Well, Stu can tell you, but I just say this, it was amazing, because oftentimes what yogis do, and of course the rishis, they would listen to what the sound of whatever it was made, and then the name would be clear. So there's a word for everything, a name for everything is given to everything by the energy that it gives off, if you like. So I couldn't come up with anything, but Stu did, and so he can tell them about it.
How did you come up with Kalyana, Stuart?
Well, Kalyana became a popular jig when an Irish band called Lunasa recorded it, and it was written by this really amazing player from Mayo named Emer Mayock, and she actually wrote this tune called Kalyana. Kalyana is, but researching Kalyana as well, a lot of people have used this term for their own devices, but the Sanskrit meaning is well-being. So it could be noble, it could be several things, but I think mostly they're using it for that term. So it was encompassing kind of the well-being of people in general. So when we were really like Kirtan, we were looking for that word, but we were looking for something that people could remember, could say, those types of things.
Yeah.
And so, but the Irish connection is there because there was an Irish musician that had, and Irish bands that have recorded this tune, which is a great tune.
We actually haven't checked in with her to find out where she got the name from.
That's right.
Actually.
We're going to
interesting.
contact
'Cause that would
her
be
down the line.
fascinating too,
She's not playing out as much as she was,
Yeah, I
but she
bet
did a
it is,
couple of great albums. And,
What was her name
so we
again,
loved it.
for
Her name
listeners?
is Emer, E-M-E-R, Mayock. Yeah, and so we'd love to get in touch with her. But basically, because the Kalyana being a Sanskrit word, being an Irish jig, and being played in the Irish tradition, I thought that might be an interesting. It actually didn't come to me because I haven't played this tune in so long, because I played it with a former
You were tuned into
bandmates
it.
of mine, and it just kind of came to me one day when Johnny and I were meeting up to put together some stuff, and I said, "What about that name?" you know, and it's like, oh, it has a really nice sound to it as well, you know.
Power, Kalyana.
Yeah.
So the sounds, these two traditions, it's like that arrangement we just put together. It came together in literally 5 minutes. I had this idea, and you know, and the mantra was there obviously, but he's like, well, these are the tunes that go with it. It just flows seamlessly. So it's like.
Do you have another song?
We do.
For us?
We do.
To show that
Yeah.
dynamic of flow and upliftment and spiritual healing and trance us all out.
Do you want to tell them about this piece?
Well, it seems like we're going to play the tune Kalyana.
I think
So, okay. So we talked it up. Now we're going to play it. And
Yay.
yeah, so now I guess it's going to become like a little unofficial anthem, you know?
Right.
The,
It's our theme song.
Kalyana.
So I was singing this chant from this mantra that I was initiated into during COVID. And Stu said it reminded him of a song that he had heard in County Kerry in the south of Ireland, the melody of it. So, and then we thought we would just put that with the Kalyana jig. So there you go. So we mixed the two. And it's Om Shakti Om, Shakti Om, Shakti Om, Nar Varvi, Nar Varvi, Nar Varvi Om. And I think I told you about that one time.
Yes.
May goodness manifest for all beings. Om Narvi Swaha. Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Narvavi 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 Om Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Narvavi 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 Om Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Narvavi 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 Om Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Narvavi 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 Om Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Narvavi 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 Om. Shakti Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Narvavi 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 Om.
Thank you, Kalyana, Johnny Coe, Shakti Das, and Stuart Peak, Padma Das, playing Om Shakti Om. You heard it first here on Cosmic Scene, the musical fusion of Kalyana combining Irish and Indian music. Make sure you stay tuned for part 2 featuring Shakti Das and Padma Das, discussing this connection between Irish and Indian music, and we'll have some great music ahead for you in the next episode. This is Cosmic Scene with Jill Jardine, signing out and sending healing sound, Kirtan, Indian music, Irish music vibrations through the quantum field. Da.